In this session, what we would see is couple of useful things in Subversion that we would like to do as an administrator. So what we see in this session is going to be on SVN admin commands, like couple of tasks of SVN administrator, where how does he take repository backup, how does he move a repository from one place to another place, or how does he upgrade his repository in case if a new version comes up. What are hooks in Subversion? So that would be the points of discussion in today's class. Okay, so if the commands that I use for taking backup and restoring my repository are SVN admin commands. Like you run SVN update, SVN add, SVN delete, etc. They are more from client. So SVN admin commands are like creating repositories, taking backup of existing repository, loading it into a new repository, upgrading a server. Say for instance a new version of SVN has come and you install the new version in your server, but that is not sufficient. You need to upgrade your repositories, because when you install new version of Subversion, the metadata, storage format, the data structures, everything can change. So your repository may not be compatible with the upgraded Subversion server. So you need to upgrade your repositories as well along with the server upgrade. And you should also tell your developers to upgrade their clients. Say now we are all on SVN 1.8. Tomorrow SVN 1.9 has come. So you need to install 1.9. SVN 1.9 server. You need to upgrade your repository, and then you should tell your developers to install SVN 1.9 client and then upgrade their working copies. Okay. So primarily your kind of upgrade will have working with repositories. You will have two types of tasks. It's the same server that you have, and you have to upgrade your software, or you have consumed the disk space on D drive for your repository. You need to move to say E drive, where there is a 100 GB, 200 GB disk is there, or you want to move your SVN server altogether from one system to another system. These are some of the things which you need to handle with your repositories. I repeat the scenarios that we will discuss. One is how do I upgrade my repository? Why do I need to upgrade my repository? Whenever we install new versions of SVN server in the system, we need to upgrade the repository. Same is the case with clients. Whenever we install a new version of SVN client, if there is significant change, suppose you are going from 1.8.1 to 1.8.2, it is a minor version change. There won't be that much of impact. But if you are going for say 1.8 to 1.9, which is kind of major version change, so there can be a data structure level changes as well. So in which case, be it at the server side, be it at the client side from a developer desk, if new version is installed, we need to upgrade our respective things. If it is server, we need to upgrade repository. If it is clients, we need to update the working copies. Okay. So that is scenario one. How do you upgrade your repository? The repository is on the server and we need to upgrade it on the same server to a new version of software. Scenario two is how do I create a dump, or how do I create a backup of my repository, so that in case if I want to change my drive from D drive to E drive, or if I want to change my system altogether and set up repository on a new system, so how do I do all those things? You understand? So these are the things that we are going to look at now. If we want to take the backup of SVN repository, we have to do it with a command called dump. SVN admin dump. If you look at this SVN admin dump, it dumps the contents of file system into a portable format, which SVN can understand. So command is SVN admin dump. Then we need to give the repository path. Where is my repository path? Okay. There are optional things. I will cover the optional things after a while. So let me just create a dump of my repository path. Okay. So where is my repository path first of all? We all know that we have created a dump file in my D drive. There are many repositories. So D drive, I will say repositories. So this is my repos folder. This is the folder that I am talking about. So this is my repos. Under repositories, this is my repos folder. This is the folder I am talking about. This is the repos path. Repos. Clearly it is mentioning repos path. Okay. Now let me run that command. SVN admin. SVN admin. This is my, okay, I need to set SVN admin dump. SVN admin dump. The command that we are going to use is SVN admin dump repos path. So dump, what it does, dump the contents of the file system into a dump file, which is like a portable format which SVN can understand. So the command that I am going to use is, we know that my directories, my repository structure is this D : repositories is where I created the repositories. We all know that. Now in that there is repos folder. In my D : repository there is a repos folder. This is the one that I need to pick up. So the command that I need to execute is SVN admin. If I want to create a backup file, create dump, I need to give repos, repos path. I need to give repos path. There are other options which I'll discuss after some time. So let me run this command. SVN admin dump. The repos path is D : repository / repos. Okay. I am creating a dump file of my repos folder now. Now what this does is it will take a backup of all my revisions. Because the first revision, if you remember, is when I created trunk, branches and all that, right? After that, what I did in trunk, what I did in branches, it tries to capture all that information, revision by revision. If I run this command, as you can see here, I have another repository C:, let that run in background. E:. If you go to my repository section, I have lot of repositories. So let me take this repository. Okay. Let me take this repository and let me take backup of this repository. Now SVN admin dump. My repository path is, what is the syntax for the command? SVN admin dump repositories path. Okay. SVN admin dump repository path. So SVN admin dump repository / batch 16. That is the one which I want to take a dump. And then I want to create a dump file with the name. I am redirecting this dump output into a file. Okay. I will say batch 16.dump. This is the repository which I am taking as a backup. Now if I run this command, you can see dump revision 1, revision 2, all the revisions are all dumped into a file. Okay. So these dumps contain information about be it files creation, files modification, files deletion, everything as a series of time. Okay. So when I do this, I have a backup file created. If I open my backup file which is in D drive, this is my dump file. Okay. It is very complicated to look at, but you can see everything, author, details, everything. It is nicely packaged in a way which SVN can understand. Now, you can see every commit, everything at each revision is all maintained in a very effective manner. This is how SVN stores the information about revisions. Now, let me create another repository. Okay, let me create another repository. So yes, SVN admin. I will say create. The way I create a repository, SVN admin create. I can give a new repository. I will say sample repository. Okay, I am creating a new repository. Say, in my previous thing there is no space, and I have created a new repository now with extra added space. Okay. Now SVN admin will create me a repository. Like I had batch 16, batch 17, and so it will create a sample repo for me. So like this, there are many repos for me. Many repositories for me in repositories. Now it will create a new repository. So I have got a new repository here. E-drive sample. Yeah. So this is my new repository which I created under E-drive. Okay. Like I had repositories, I created another repository sample repo. Now I need to dump all that particular dump file which is created, okay, into a new repository. So that is possible with SVN admin load. Okay. SVN admin load. Then I need to give the location of where I want the repository of where I want to dump it, along with the file where my dump is stored. Okay. So I will say SVN admin load sample repo. Where is my dump file stored? My dump file is stored in batch 16.dump, right? In D drive. In that folder only I created this dump file. So I will say read the dump file from batch 16, all those revisions, and put them into this repository. It's like replay. Take and commit, take from that repository and commit from this. It's like replay of every commit that you have done one after another. Now you can see created branches, created tags, committed each revision. It's not committing every single revision back here. 24, revision 25, each revision as if what we have done at that point of time in that particular repository, it's bringing it here and it's committing it here. Every commit it is doing. So all 48 revisions are all committed here. It's like 48 commits have happened in the new repository. Now, if you go to this, so in your repository, you have a database of revisions. Now you can see all those 48 revisions created here as well. Okay, so this is how you create a backup. This is how you create a backup of repository and then you restore. This is SVN admin dump and SVN admin load. Okay, then another important point to consider in this is, as I was mentioning about other options that you have. In case, say now we have taken a dump till say 10,000 last Friday. Okay, now you want, it took around 4 to 5 hours. Now it is 11,000 this Friday. So you don't need to create dump from 1 to 11,000 again. You can create a dump in your revision range as well. Okay, based on, so now I have done till 48, right? Now I can make a commit into batch 16. And then I can commit only one. I can back up and load one revision also. See, for example, here, I can say -r 49. It means only 49 is taken as a dump and 49 is loaded there. Okay. Or I can say 49 to 100. So in that revision range, dump is created and I can load only that revision range. So using SVN admin and load, you can do it incrementally. Either first time you take whole dump and you load it. That is first time. Second time onwards, you give a revision range -r 21:30, -r 30:50. Okay. Or only one particular revision you want to take and dump. You can also do that actually. So this is how you work with SVN admin dump and load operations. Good SVN comment that I want to share with you is SVN admin upgrade. What does it say? Upgrade a repository to the latest supported schema version. Means whenever you install a new version of SVN in your server, immediately you go to your repository's path and then you say SVN admin upgrade repository path. Then you run this. When you run this for your repository, then always, if you have a doubt, this is your repository's path, conf, db, hooks, up to this folder. You have to come and click. You have to say SVN admin. You need to say SVN admin is a single word. SVN admin upgrade and your repository path. So upgrade completed. But the best practice is that whenever you do SVN admin upgrade in your SVN server, you take a dump file, take a backup. In case if upgrade files or upgrade characters, something goes wrong, still you can install a fresh server and then load the revisions onto it. This is for server upgrade. On the other hand, I have, as a developer, I also want to take, upgrade of. So if I want to take an upgrade of my trunk or whatever it is, SVN upgrade. Okay. If it is a developer level, it is SVN upgrade. So if it is developer level, it is SVN upgrade. If it is admin level, it is SVN admin upgrade. Why if we need upgrade is in these scenarios when a new version of, a higher version of SVN is installed in the server, because data structures can change, you have to upgrade your repositories. Similarly, to work with that SVN server, you may need to upgrade your SVN client here, and after you upgrade SVN client, you may need to upgrade your working copies also. So upgrade server, upgrade repos, upgrade client, upgrade working copy. These are 4 things that go hand in hand whenever you go for a higher version of SVN. And when I say higher version, it's not minor version change from 1.8.1 to say 1.8.2. You need not do this stuff. But SVN 1.8 to 1.10, you jump 2 versions. So you need to upgrade the SVN server, you need to upgrade repository using SVN Admin upgrade command. You need to install new version, new SVN client. You need to upgrade your working copies using SVN upgrade. Otherwise, you will get an error saying your working copy is too old and is an older version. You will get a clear message as well. So it's good to spend some time on these repositories. For every repository that you create, be it in your Visual SVN server, be it in your Collaborate Subversion Edge, whatever may be your SVN server, okay, whatever may be your SVN server, the repository structure remains the same. You will see some conf folder, you will see some hooks folder, you will see some DB folder, okay. So you, at the repository level, at the decal repository, you will see some password, okay. You will see the groups.conf, you will see a couple of files here, and then each repository that you get 49, 50, 51, for each of the repository, you will have conf, hooks, DB and all those things. So what are these things? How are they relevant? If you look at, when you give your repositories path in your installing SVN server, that is where you will see for each repository that you create, you will see a folder and you will see groups.conf, these things. So this is nothing but where you store your passwords, where you store your authorization information. If you edit this one, this is Visual SVN authorization. So it will tell which person should be having read write like that. This groups.conf will contain who are admins. Okay, what are their usernames? Who is SVN admin? So I can create developers. I can create developers. Okay, devs. I can give names of the users. I can say SVN. So XYZ user is one developer. ABC is another developer. I can create a group called devs. I can create a group called admins. I can create a group called super admins. Okay. So I can create multiple admins here, or multiple groups rather. Now I can go to my Visual SVN and say this group has read write. This group has read. Devs has only read operation. Admins has read write. Okay. Here, the passwords of all those things will be automatically stored by Subversion. These are system files. I am just showing. We have created from UI, right? Create a user, give a password, create a group. Where are they getting stored? They are getting stored here. You should not be editing these things manually. But I am just showing you. When we create a user, when we give him a password, when we create a group, we have done all those things from Visual SVN server, right? These are Visual SVN server. So here we created a new group. We created users. Okay. And then we are assigning passwords for the user. Okay. This is my repositories root, d:\repositories. Okay. So whenever I am doing all these operations, where is it reflecting? It is reflecting here. The passwords are stored here. The groups are stored in the groups.conf. The users, which group has read write, which user has read write, which user has read, which user has write. So individual authorization is here. Groups are maintained here. The user's passwords are maintained here. This is the That is the importance of these files here. Then in every repository that you create, you will see this folder structure. This DB contains all your commits. These are all your revisions. Internally, every commit that you make is not stored as a file or something, is stored as a revision. This is how it will store. Every commit will be stored like this in a detailed manner, which SVN can understand what file is committed, what line is committed, so that I can take this revision file and whenever I create a dump out of this revision and I load this revision and anywhere where SVN repository is there, this change will try to be applied there. Now I come to another important aspect called hooks. Okay. Hooks is like triggers. SVN has many hooks. Like most important are pre-commits and post-commits. What is this pre-commit and post-commit hooks? Whenever you are trying to commit something to SVN, before commit, if you want something to be checked, for instance, I don't want people to make commit with empty messages. It's a good thing, right? I want to check people are not already empty commits because I don't know why that commit is done. Tomorrow when I am doing auditing. So as an SCM engineer, you want to put a policy saying nobody should commit with an empty message. That you can do with a pre-commit hook. Or after a commit is done, I want to send an email to the team saying this is your commit. Check it. Or after a commit is done, say you are following a standard comment format in which you are putting say Jira ID and then you are putting status. If suppose for a particular requirement, if you are saying status is complete, why not I go to Jira and close that requirement rather than going to Jira, logging in again and then closing it there? Why not I do it in a one shot? So I commit a requirement saying status is closed. Automatically I want something to happen which can go on close that particular requirement in Jira automatically. Is it not? It's a valid requirement. So that means after every commit, you want something to happen, or before every commit, you want something to happen. That is done by using your folder called hooks. So pre-commit hook will run. Okay, pre-commit hook will run before a commit. Post-commit hook will run after a commit. Okay, so how it will be generally in your hooks for this .empl files, template files. And SVN is so flexible that you can rename this TMPL to BAT. It will run automatically. You create this .empl file to .exe. You can put an exe, SVN will run. Or if you have Python installed on my machine, you can run a Python script. If I have Perl installed on my machine, I can run a Perl script. If I have a Ruby installed, I can run a Ruby script. So I can run anything as part of my pre-commit. By default, it is template. I rename this template to any extension which my server support. That can be run. On Unix machine, I'll have a shell script. I'll have anything which the particular OS can run is a valid extension. For instance, simplest way is a batch file. Okay. So I will put a pre-commit.bat. So there are two ways. I can directly put my code here, or most of your Visual SVN server or SVN collaborated has a window where you can paste your hooks. If I go to Visual SVN Server Manager, if you go to repository section, you have say batch 50. You have an option manage hooks. Hope you are all able to see it. For everything, you have for every repository, you can maintain hooks separately. You have an option here called manage hooks. So let me go to that manage hooks section. How I have navigated here, I launched my Visual SVN server. I move to a repository of my choice. I right click and then I can go to manage hooks. So when I click on this manage hooks, I have various hooks options, start commit, pre-commit, post-commit, like that. Pre-commit is what I am looking. Click on this, click on edit. Now here I have a blank editor where I can put my hook. So I have written a hook yesterday on my desktop. Let me show what that hook does. I have written a small hook. What it does is, one more command, one last command of SVN. This is right time to talk about it. You have a command called SVN look. What you can do with SVN look is, what I am doing is, whenever I am making a commit, SVN look can look into transaction. Every commit is a transaction. Using SVN look, you can analyze a transaction. So this is the path of that SVN look command, SVN look.exe. Okay. So I am using SVN look to look at my log message and try to look for a string which contains either alphabets or numerics or anything. If in my transaction, in my log, transaction log, I don't find a string which contains alphabets or numbers, that means I don't have a commit message. That means I want to stop and write that error message. Okay. So this is a small thing. What I am doing is log-t is where I am looking at transaction log using SVN look, and in the transaction log I am looking for a string. Whether is there some string which I have given as part of my comment. If there is something, then it's okay. If there is nothing, it won't allow. Let me take this now and let me put it in my pre-commit hook editor. Click OK. Apply. Now I have a hook which is set up on. I have a hook which is set up on a repository. Okay. Now let me try to commit from so I added a new file here some time ago. Now let me try to commit it. Be it in a branch, be it in trunk, anywhere in that repository. I am giving an empty message and I am trying to commit. You can see now saying commit blocked. What is the message? Commit comments are required. That is the message that I have given here. Comment for a commit is must. So every time I am making a commit, this pre-commit hook is called. A comment for a commit is must. Okay. So pre-commit gets called before a commit. Post-commit gets called after a commit. Best example for pre-commit is, I have a standard XML format and I want to ensure that every member of my dev team commits with that XML format. So my logic, my pre-commit hook checks for a standard XML, and if not, the commit will be failed. A better scenario for post-commit is, we send out an email to my development teams. After every commit is done to the respective team, we will send out an email. Or we have Jira. So Jira has a concept of webhooks. So using Jira webhooks, we have a post commit mechanism to update Jira for the update Jira with the commit that we have made. In Jira, I can see all my SVN commits for a particular requirement. So that we do it the post commit. These are some of the examples that we can discuss when we are talking about our experiences with SVN hooks.